watch out!
How's everyone doing today? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. I hope that you guys have been having a wonderful day enjoying rewatching the new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I was able to react to it before going to work today, and then I went to work, so I've had some time to sit on the trailer and think about really everything that it had to offer. Let's start with my obvious favorite, and that is the real-time combat, which I don't understand exactly how it works because we saw it end up being like a horde battle of sorts in the trailer, which was really cool, and that was the first thing that we saw of it. And so I looked on the website, actually in my reaction video, and learned all the ins and outs about it that it said on the website. And it seems that we can just tell our Pokemon when we have them out with us, you know, following us in the overworld, to go and do things. They can look for fights and I guess gain experience from those. They can also go grab items for you. And I think that's obviously like a really cool evolution of what Pokemon Legends Arceus was doing when they had the whole idea of you being able to throw your Pokemon out anywhere and even use them to break objects or grab items on the ground in that game as well. But this is taking it to a whole nother level. We see that we're having this like fight against the evil team, and we just send our little Pokemon out. I think it was the Makuhita, and we just send them out to go fight the enemy team and their horde of Houndour. Now, there are some questions that are unanswered when it comes to this real-time combat, and that is, are our Pokemon going to use their actual moves? Are they just going to have the same canned animation? Are they going to do different animations when they're fighting? What are all the different things that go into this? I am very curious to see how it's implemented and just how much detail they put in it. They might not put any detail in it at all, which I'm kind of scared of, but it looks good already from what we've seen, so I don't mind it from what I've already seen. It also looked like someone else had sent their, like, that dancing bird, I forget its name, but they sent that Pokemon out too to go fight the Houndour with us. So there's definitely going to be some partnerships and alliances formed within the game, and I'm just excited to see this new mechanic in action and see the story in action, because speaking of the horde battle against the Houndour, like I was talking about the evil team just now, and the evil team looks awesome. I really like the fact that it's a bunch of rebellious students at the school, and I love the design of their leader. I forget her name. It was like Mela or something like that. It was really, really cool, and her design is awesome. I love me a good badass female design. I'm always a fan of those. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of like Bayonetta, Nier Automata, and a bunch of other games that feature empowered females. So it's nice to see one in this game as well. We also need to talk about one thing real quick, and that is that this group of school students who make up Team Star, I think it's called, are definitely the bullies of the school. So it's nice that we're going to be beating the asses of some bullies, because nobody likes the rich kids who just make fun of everyone else. So we're going to be kicking some rich kid ass. Although I guess that doesn't make much sense since our character is very rich, as I've talked about in several of my analysis videos. So maybe we're actually one of the bullies. Maybe we are part of Team Star. Maybe that's the story they're wanting to tell here. And I hear that the story is actually going to be really good. This isn't really a spoiler, but leakers have said the story is going to be really good in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and they still haven't shown us all of it. So this video was titled The Treasure Hunt, and I thought the treasure hunt was one of 3 aspects of the game, but it seems like the treasure hunt encompasses the 3 aspects of the game, the 3 different stories that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company mentioned were going to be in the game. So I'm wondering what the 3 stories are. We know that one of them is the evil team. We know that one of them is probably having to do with the time paradox. And I think the other one is going to be the gym challenge. And all of that together is the treasure hunt. I thought maybe the treasure hunt was one of the 3 and that it was going to overlap with, say, time paradox story or something. But no. It seems to be that the treasure hunt is just the all-around general name of the story for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So either way, seeing these characters and the story unfold in front of our eyes in this trailer really gets me excited to see what exactly is in store, because we don't know all the details. But again, like I said, the leakers said it's going to be good. So I'm going to take that word and run with it, because it looks like it's actually going to be really good. There's a lot of different moving pieces from what we've seen so far. You know, you have all these rivals. You have Penny, who they really haven't explained anything about yet. And then you have the evil team, you have the school, you have the time paradox, which they haven't talked about officially yet. And then you also have the legendaries, which they haven't talked about like what's obvious, and that's that they're time paradoxes of Cyclozar, which is really cool. Now, next we can talk about the Pokemon size scaling. There's these things called Titan Pokemon, and they're like really big versions, I guess, of Pokemon that you can find in the overworld. I don't know if they're like alphas where they keep that size even after you catch them, and I can't remember if I read anything about that specifically in the leaks, or if maybe they're more like totem Pokemon from Pokemon Sun and Moon, and with those, the totem Pokemon, you caught them and then they reverted back to whatever shrunk down size the game had for them after you caught them. So I'm hoping it's not like that. I'm hoping it's more like Legends, where you have alphas, and well, Titans in this case, and they keep their size, they retain their size after you catch them. I really would love to see that. That sense of scale is something that I really love about 3D games. So seeing Pokemon in 3D, I loved Pokemon Legends so much because it did that for us, whereas Sword and Shield did not. Now, on the topic of these Titan Pokemon, we can talk about the new Pokemon and their designs. So there's the crab, there's the Goofy Crab, and Goofy Crab is Goofy. But the real shiners are the other two. I actually don't know their names. Hold on, wait a minute. We have the wonderful thing called the internet, and I can look that up right now and see what their names are, because I actually skimmed right past them when I was looking at the Pokemon on my video of me reacting to the trailer and the new website information. Okay, so I pulled it up, and we have Armarouge, which is the red one exclusive to Scarlet, and then we have Ceruledge, one of those, Ceruledge or Ceruledge. I'm assuming it's Ceruledge, but said quickly, so like Crueledge, kind of like he's cruel, because he's a ghost, and what is the other one? Fire, yeah, Fire and Ghost. Looks really cool, honestly. Looks like Proto Man and Mega Man, and the other one looks like Zero from Mega Man, so like really they just got the Mega Man characters in the game, which is, I mean, sure, go them, I guess. But I really like Crueledge, and not only do I like Crueledge, but I was also going to get Violet version anyways, so now I'm just more vindicated in the fact that I'm getting Violet version, because Crueledge to me is the clear winner out of the two. I'm not a big fan of Armarouge's big clunky design of like how he's got those big bulky, I guess, what would you call it, armor pieces on his shoulders, the shoulder pads. I'm not a big fan personally. And then the way the flame makes a hairstyle, I'm also not too fond of that. And his legs are just blocks. I mean, I guess same could be said for Crueledge, but Crueledge has more like form and more variation to the shapes on its legs, whereas Armarouge is just a big rectangle. I'm not too big a fan of that. If you guys didn't notice, there's actually another hidden Pokemon that was in the trailer, and that was the engine Pokemon attached to the giant car thing that the evil team rides, or at least the leader of the Fire Division drives. So the engine Pokemon is interesting because I think it's like making the car run, but I don't think the car is included in its design. I think this is just specific to this boss battle, but I'm really not sure. But yeah, did you guys catch this hidden Pokemon? Some people might have missed it. I really don't know if you guys did or not, but I caught it right away. I saw the eye and I was like, I knew that that was going to be the part of the car that is a Pokemon, and sure enough, there it was. On top of new Pokemon, there were some returning Pokemon that I'm also really excited about, and that was Tropius and, well, I guess Medicham was another confirmed one, but I don't think I was excited for Medicham. I feel like there was another one I was excited for. But yeah, Tropius is definitely one that I remember, and something important that I want to point out. With knowing that Tropius and Electros are in the game, I've noticed that they've actually been on the ground, whereas the last time we saw them in a Pokemon game, like 3D, they were flying in the air non-stop and could not touch the ground with their feet for whatever reason, because Game Freak was doing some weird shit with their game. But now they are touching the ground, and we know from the last trailer, trailer number 3, that Pokemon will both stand on the ground and fly in the air like we saw with Murkrow. So I'm wondering if Tropius and Electros actually will be floating sometimes for certain moves or certain actions that they're doing, maybe when they run or walk. I'm very curious to see what they end up doing with that. Now, I wasn't particularly excited to see this Pokemon, Sudowoodo, because they were in Legends, but I do love Sudowoodo, but I do want to talk about how great the textures for Sudowoodo looks in this game. Like, I know we've been seeing awesome textures for the Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet that we haven't seen before, but the texture on Sudowoodo was just especially stand out to me. I don't know. It looks so good. Was there a Pokemon that you were super excited to see return? Let me know that down in the comments, and also tell me if there was a new Pokemon that is your favorite now, more than Cetitan and more than Fido, you know, more than any of the ones shown before. Let me know if any of these ones are your new favorites. I know a lot of people really like Ceruledge, and I am totally right there with you. I don't think it's my favorite, but as far as intimidating and badass Pokemon designs go, that one's definitely at the top so far for Gen 9. Now, in the trailer, they showed us using the map. I haven't looked in depth at it yet, but it looks like the map is going to be an integral part of your gameplay experience. Obviously, this is a game where you're going to be setting your own path and making your own adventure, as they've mentioned many times throughout Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's websites. But the map seems to be something that you're going to be flipping back and forth on a lot to know where you're going, what you're going to find when you go there, and more that I can't even fathom because I haven't even looked at it yet. Okay, but one thing I did look at was Geeta, the chairwoman of the Pokemon League. She looks really cool. She honestly looks like she might be related to Adaman. Although there was another character that I think, oh yeah, Jacques might also be related to Adaman. I don't know. I feel like one of these two, at the very least, is related to Adaman from Pokemon Legends. We will see who ends up being the one who's related to him, but Geeta is definitely in the running. She has a really cool design. She looks, again, badass. I love these badass females. Her hair is amazing. Her outfit, all black, gotta love it, along with some purple, gotta love that too. She is awesome, and she is the chairwoman of the Pokemon League, so I doubt she is actually evil because they just did the whole evil chairman in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Unless this is their, like, fifth dimensional sense of humor coming at us, Game Freak, there's no way that you're going to make Geeta another villainous chairman or chairwoman, whatever it is that they go by. Right? Right? There's no way, right? Well, we'll see. Game Freak does like to stick to their tropes, but this story just, I don't know, it's not screaming repetition. It feels like this is an all-new take on the franchise. I'm excited to see everything else that Game Freak does with this game. I'm excited to see more trailers, see more things elaborated. I still am waiting for Pokemon Picnic to be elaborated, and how it is that we got all our Pokemon out at once in some of these shots. Hopefully it's not just for a photo mode, but I mean, at the very least, I guess that's okay, but I am hoping that Pokemon Picnic is a better version of Pokemon Camp, or that we at least, at the very least, have Pokemon Camp in its most basic form here in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because I loved Pokemon Camp. That was the one thing from Legends that I missed, even though you could throw all your Pokemon out, so it was kind of better in Legends, but here, you know, we're not going to be able to have all our Pokemon out at once, at least not for running around, so maybe, just maybe, we'll have them all out in Pokemon Picnic. But what are some of your biggest wants for the next trailer, and what were some of the things that excited you the most in this? For me, it's almost definitely the real-time battle mechanics. I am so excited to see that in action. I'm so excited to play with that. It's gonna let me customize my journey even more. I get to multitask. I get to have people over in my game, and we all experience it in a 4-player co-op with our Pokemon doing things alongside us. It makes them feel like a separate entity. And I don't know if this is going to be true upon release, but this new mechanic seems to be the only way that Pokemon make physical contact with each other when attacking each other with physical moves. We at least know that they attack each other physically in this mode, but I'm curious to see if they end up adding it into the more standard battles by the release of the game. I really hope they do. Pokemon should always make physical contact when they do, you know, a physical attack against another one. But we'll see. That's my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comments. Until the next video, everyone, this has just been me pouring out my thoughts. I'm Johto Jonny. Peace out.